We're only a few days away from October the 3rd. What is October the 3rd? I hear some of you say. Others of you will know immediately what's important about October the 3rd, 2025, because we are getting a new Taylor Swift album. The Life of a Showgirl drops on October the 3rd. And me personally, I cannot wait. I've been a Swiftie for a number of years now, ever since my teenage daughter begged me to listen to Taylor Swift with her, not realising I was about to fall down a literary rabbit hole, as my channel is called, with the beautiful songwriting talent that is Taylor Swift. If Taylor Swift belongs anywhere, it is on a book channel that is obsessed with words. Taylor Swift, out of all the things she is most definitely and primarily, I would say, a wordsmith. So October the 3rd, we get a brand new album, and to celebrate, I want to start a Taylor Swift book club on the channel. So I am going to start a Taylor Swift inspired book club called the Paper Thin Plans Book Club. If you're already a Swiftie, you will know that is a lyric from one of my favourite Taylor Swift songs, Death by a Thousand Cuts. I was thinking about giving you every 10 weeks the option of 3 books inspired by Taylor Swift. So 10 and 3 makes 13, Taylor's lucky number. I needed to get a 13 in there somewhere. So whether you're a Taylor Swift fan or whether you aren't, there will be something for you here. I've got loads of books, I've got loads of inspiration, I've got study ideas and a brand new book club if you want some community reading. I'm going to go through the 12 tracks, which are all written down on cards here, and I want to rank them to rate where I think these 12 tracks will be in my preference order before I've even listened to the album. Of course, with track number 1, which is The Fate of Ophelia. Straight away you see that link to literature, and in honour of track number 1, I have put on all of my Ophelia flowers. So we go from the very top, which is Obsession, like my new favourite song. I can't believe that in just a few days' time I could have a brand new favourite Taylor Swift track. So we've got Obsession, we've got Fearless Love is the next level down, which means I do really love it, but it's not quite that obsessive track. Then we've got It's a Grower But Love, so I still love it but need to listen to it a few more times. Then we've got Yeah, It's Okay, it's a good Taylor Swift song, but there's no love hearts being drawn. Then at the very bottom we've got Meh, not sure, could be a grower, might not be. And then the very bottom rank, I've put in here a mention of my least favourite Taylor Swift track ever. It's Good to Have a Friend, and You Have None is the bottom layer. Let's rank it just by the track names alone. So track number 1 is that aforementioned The Fate of Ophelia, but I'm going to put it in Fearless Love only because historically I don't always get obsessed about the opening tracks of her album. So The Fate of Ophelia, I've ranked it in Fearless Love. It is the one track that I think might end up an obsession, and right from the start of this we're thrown into the literary world, we're thrown into Hamlet by William Shakespeare, and I think Hamlet is going to be the first book I present to you for the Paper Thin Plans book club, because I suspect that Taylor Swift is more obsessed with Hamlet, and Hamlet has got a bigger hold on this album than just track 1 and just The Fate of Ophelia. So the Pre-Raphaelites in a number of paintings actually showed The Fate of Ophelia. Here is a really famous painting of Ophelia just giving herself up to the water. Her clothes keep her afloat for a while. Finally, her clothes fill with water and drag her down, and she is drowned. What is she doing when she falls in the brook? She is collecting flowers that symbolise love, and she falls from a willow tree. We know that the willow is incredibly important in Taylor Swift's discography. And the pre-Raphaelites were obsessed with Ophelia as well. This isn't the only Ophelia painting that they've done. They've done a number of them. In fact, I'm pretty certain that there is another one in this book. Yeah, there is another one here. So why would Taylor Swift be obsessed with Hamlet? Well, I think the character of Ophelia and what we're told about Ophelia really sums up Taylor Swift and her history so far in songwriting. So in the character of Ophelia, we've got a woman who is told one thing and believes it fully, only to be told another story in love with no reason of why things have changed. So a woman really betrayed and spurned within love. And we've seen through the history of Taylor Swift's writing that is a big part of her writing. She writes about those moments where she just feels betrayed. She's trusted and fully trusted, and things have turned out not to be as she was initially told. But I don't think it stops there, because when we are told in Hamlet that Ophelia has died, the very first moment when the Queen announces her death, in that moment we are told that Ophelia sings. Now, for me, the flowers that Ophelia is collecting and the flowers that Ophelia gets obsessed with, they depict her descent into madness, a madness brought on because she cannot believe that Hamlet has changed his mind and has betrayed her in love. And she's trying to pick flowers when she falls into the brook from the willow tree. A willow tree branch snaps and she falls in. It says that her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up. So for a while they acted like a mermaid's tail and kept her afloat in the water. There is no fighting against this. There is no trying to get back to the bank. She just lies there accepting her fate. However, in time, the weight of the water starts to drag her down. When this is happening, the play says, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes as one incapable of her own distress. So she's singing as she's being pulled down because she's incapable of accepting that distress. And I think it's in that we have got a very strong link to who Taylor Swift is and the play of Hamlet and the character of Ophelia. This is somebody that was still looking for the good, still looking for signs of love in the flowers, but was aware that they were fully betrayed and had no fight left in them. And within the drowning, rather than accepting and feeling the full weight of that pain, they just sang. They sang to numb it out. They sang to forget about what was going on. The singing was the thing that made them submit to the reality of what was going on and not to fight it, just to go with the flow. For somebody to be chanting snatches of old tunes as they drown, I think there we've got the crux of why Hamlet was so important. I think also it was important to Taylor even before the Eras tour. Why do I think that? Because you've got the flowers of Ophelia depicted on the back of her piano, which she used for the secret songs in the middle of the show. It was often in those secret songs where she sang a couple of songs a night, 2 or 3 songs a night, just accompanied either with the guitar or the piano, that she really did give us kind of a snapshot daily of what was going on in her life. We could kind of piece together what was going on by whatever songs she chose to sing. There was a real kind of keyhole look in through those songs. What was going on in her emotional life? Was she drowning? Sometimes we heard the drowning within those songs. Sometimes she cried singing those songs. She was, as the book says, chanting the old tunes as she was drowning. So a woman who has used tunes and singing to survive the betrayals of love, that would get Taylor Swift obsessed with Hamlet before we've even started. However, add to that one of the key questions within Hamlet. To be or not to be, that is the question. It's the most famous line from Hamlet, and I think throughout Taylor Swift's career as well, we've seen her battle with this idea of wanting to be normal, wanting to carry on with real life, but being this mega superstar, how much to share, how much not to share, inviting fans to the houses or not to invite fans to her house. I think Taylor Swift is as popular as she is because she offers us both sides. She gives fans a lot of access to her as just the girl next door. Every Swiftie will tell you that although she's the biggest star probably that's ever been and a billionaire, we all feel like we could also be her best friend. She's never let go of what to show and what not to show. And I think that as well sums up what the life of a showgirl will be. She's wanting to show us the other side. On stage, she is the mega superstar. But when the show is over and the lights are turned off and the lights go down and the curtain closes, who is she behind the curtain? It is a snapshot behind the curtain of when the era's show was happening. To be or not to be, that is the question. Does she cease to be when she's not on stage anymore? What's left for her? Has she sacrificed too much of her real self to be this persona, personality, persona, real life, made up life, showgirl life, real girl life? You've got that dual aspect. I think that's why the front cover of the album shows that moment when she's in the bath after a show and all her muscles are aching. She's just done 3 hours of the Eras tour. She's exhausted and the real her is floating in the bath, just like Ophelia floated in the water. But the shattered mirrors all around her, she's almost broken who she is to become a showgirl. There is a breaking, and you see that in the question to be or not to be. There's a choice. To be a showgirl, I think you have to break yourself and be more than one person. And I think again themes of that in Hamlet are what make Hamlet such a massive part of this album. And in Act 1 Scene 3, so we've got 1 and a 3 there, we've got the number 13. There is some really interesting dialogue around all these ideas of Taylor Swift linked with Hamlet. So if she came to Act 1, Scene 3, which I'm sure she would have done just to see what the 13 linked to, you've got Ophelia and Hamlet talking, and Hamlet says, "I did love you once." Ophelia replies, "Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so." And Hamlet replies to that, "You should not have believed me. I am myself indifferent," he says later on in his speech. We've got that betrayal in Act 1, Scene 3. He goes on to be accusatory with Ophelia by saying, "For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them." And this has been said over and over and over again about Taylor Swift. She can make monsters of her exes. She's been accused of going after her exes through her songs, making monsters of them. Hamlet accuses Ophelia to her face of doing that after he's just told her that you shouldn't have believed me because I didn't really love you. The frustration and the madness inducing moment of that, I think, is something that Taylor Swift could really, really understand. And for that to come in Act 1, Scene 3, number 13, is unbelievable. It doesn't stop there. In the same scene to that, Ophelia replies, "Oh, heavenly powers, restore him." She just cannot believe what she's hearing. To which Hamlet replies, "I have heard of your paintings too well enough." For paintings, replace the word songs, your creativity. Hamlet had heard she does it as well. And he goes on to say, "God hath given you one face and you make yourself another." The split mirror moment again, where you are having to split yourself up into different people to become a showgirl, to survive, to be able to drown and then continue. And how does she do it? She does it with song. He goes on to say, you jig and you amble and you lisp, you nickname God's creatures and you make your wantonness your ignorance. Say, we will have no more marriage. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery you go. So Hamlet really is being so unfair there. He's the one that's done the bad deed, and yet he is accusing Ophelia of just being vile to others, to making monsters out of men, and to be not worthy of marriage. We have seen that over and over again in the way that Taylor Swift has presented her relationships and how she's been treated. This is the stem of the madness of Ophelia, and I think that madness came to a head for Taylor Swift at the very start of the Eras tour, the tour that this album is all about. I think because she'd just broken up with Joe Alwyn after a 6-year relationship. She immediately went into a relationship with Matty Healy, who was an ongoing interest behind the scenes for decades. We found out with the writing of the Tortured Poets department. Matty Healy is the Hamlet in the mix. Matty Healy is the guy promising her everything. We're told this in the Tortured Poets department album, where the tea is spilled, and what does he do? With no warning, with no explanation, it is just ended after he's promised her the world. The smallest man who ever lived kicks her to madness and leads her to the willow tree where she drowns. But she has to carry on. She's on the biggest tour of her life. She is a showgirl. This is where we see that split happening. Who is she to be or not to be? Do you carry on? Do you give up? Or do you sing as you're drowning and carry on? You grow yourself another face and you sing as you're drowning. I think Hamlet actually is the inspiration for the artwork, all of that split mirror artwork, the themes of the album, that the behind the scenes, behind the curtain. But also I think it links to a full circle moment I think we're going to get in this album. I think when we get to track 11, we're going to have a full circle from track 1 to track 11. Track 11 is honey. And there is another quote in here about honey in that same scene. It finishes, their conversation finishes with a mention of honey, and it is Ophelia speaking. She speaks of herself and she says, I, of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows. So she's a dejected, wretched woman who sucked the honey of his music vows. She believed what he was saying in his music and all their musical interludes to each other. She'd sucked the nectar, the sugar, the sweetness of it, believing it. So she believed it all. She sucked the honey of his music vows. We've got again that link to music again and betrayal. And I think we're going to get a full circle moment. I think the last track, track 12, The Life of a Showgirl, stands alone as the moment of moving on. But I think from track 1 to track 11, we have got that circle moment of what she had to go through to carry on with the Eras tour after what Matty Healy did to her. And I think the fate of Ophelia and honey all allude to this. So for me, I think honey will be a track about realizing that, like, being conned with music and the music world and his music world in particular. So I think Hamlet was there before. She loved the character of Ophelia. She recognised her past writing as Ophelia, but without realising she was also going to, on the Eras tour, live out that honey moment where she realises that the music that she's sucking in from somebody is actually poison, and that she is destined, with those flowers on the piano, to drown but have to keep singing as she's drowning. So we've got 2 tracks here that I think are going to be linked with Hamlet. So what I'm going to do, I actually read Hamlet this year for the first time, but I want to do a deeper dive of Hamlet. Now, to help me with that, I went to the library and I got this rough guide to Shakespeare, the plays, the poems and the life. So this is a guide with sort of a précis for each play. I want to reread this with this to help. So I think if you want to join in, one of the first 3 goals for the book club is to read Hamlet. Read Hamlet, go and get a guide like this. I also just recently bought as well this guide as well, the Essential Shakespeare Handbook, which again gives you like the general meaning of each play before you read it. So get a guide and read Hamlet. If you really do not like the idea of reading Hamlet, then I would say as an alternative, how about you read Hamnet by Maggie Farrell? So this is the story of Anne Hathaway, Shakespeare's wife, and the children of Shakespeare, and what we think would have inspired the writing of the play Hamlet. So Hamlet might be a nice alternative if you really don't like the thought of reading Hamlet. But for me, I really want to reread Hamlet now with all of that in my mind. So Hamlet, or Hamlet, that is the first book for the Paper Thin Plans book club, because I think it's a massive part of this new album release. So now we move on to the second track, Elizabeth Taylor. So I think that this could be a grower. I am going to rank it on the 3rd spot down. So we know that Taylor Swift has liked Elizabeth Taylor before. She's appeared in some of the videos. She appeared as a picture on the wall in the anti-hero video. So we know that Taylor Swift has an obsession with the story of Elizabeth Taylor and the work of Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, again, a incredible mega superstar who again had Ophelia-like issues with love, married multiple times, betrayed in love, drowning in her own obsessions and excesses and addictions. Both her and also Richard Burton, similar characters, both very wild and extreme and passionate people. Again, 2 artists in the same field of work, both actors, just like Taylor Swift and Matty Healy, both musicians. That kind of extremeness of 2 creative people coming together and it just being an explosion and a disaster on a repeat, and keep circling round to each other, which we found out is what Taylor Swift and Matty Healy were doing, mirrored in Elizabeth Taylor's life as well. So I think the fate of Ophelia and Elizabeth Taylor are both on the same theme, actually, are both of her having to perform through the realizations of what she's been stuck in. On one hand, it is very exciting, it's very creative, it's very legendary, there are legendary moments, but should we have let it stay buried and just not dug it all up again? It's exciting, it's really about performance on one hand, but with that idea of the split face and the broken mirror, it's also behind the scenes incredibly painful to be in this sort of whirlwind of passionate love at this sort of level, especially when you're trying to sing through it all and keep performing. So I think there's a realization with the first 2 tracks that she's going to keep singing no matter what, and is this really worth it? Is being dragged down into this sort of madness worth it? So I think I think Elizabeth Taylor's going to be a fantastic track about realisation. So the second book I'm going to present for the book club is anything to do with Elizabeth Taylor. So for me, I really wanted to get into that nitty gritty of what the love story with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor was like. Of course, she married him twice. She kept circling back to him. So I bought Furious Love. Now this is by Sam Kashner and Nancy Schonberger. It is a bit of a mammoth of a book, but I think this for me will fulfill what I want to find out about Elizabeth Taylor, linking it to what I think it's going to be on this album. And I got really interested in Elizabeth Taylor as another Ophelia figure that Taylor Swift can kind of put her face onto. It's another break of the mirror. Did she identify, like she identified with Ophelia, with Elizabeth Taylor? Because Elizabeth Taylor also is a wordsmith. Elizabeth Taylor didn't write songs, but she did write books. And I went down a rabbit hole of finding out about Elizabeth Taylor books. I have never read an Elizabeth Taylor book in my life, but I am really keen to explore Elizabeth Taylor this year. So I've got The Sleeping Beauty. I also bought Mrs. Palfrey at the Claremont. I bought Blaming as well, and I bought The Soul of Kindness. So for that second book, just go on an Elizabeth Taylor rabbit hole, whether you read one of her novels or whether you read a biography. Let's find out about a possible another mirror that Taylor Swift identifies with, somebody that keeps performing through the mayhem of this stormy love life and has known the pain of circling back to the same man over and over again. Then we come to track 3, Opalite. I think Opalite's going to be meh, not sure. Opalite is not a real crystal, it is a man-made crystal. There is a fakeness about opalite. I think in opalite we get that idea of the fakeness of people and looking for healing in the same place where you got broken. You're not going to find healing there. So Elizabeth Taylor keeps circling back to the same man. Ophelia keep wanting and appealing to Hamlet. There's no healing there. Opalite is a stone that can be used for healing, but it's fake. It's fake healing. Throwing yourself into different loves to heal is never going to do it. I think Opalite might be a song about it's the singing that heals. Ophelia didn't fear death and didn't struggle because she was singing as she sank down. There is a way of, you don't have to face up to it really, you don't have to really feel it with all that level of intensity while you're singing. But is that a fake healing in itself? Definitely jumping from relationship to relationship is fake healing. Circling back is a fake healing. Did the songs help or did they hinder? That could be a theme for Opalite. Has she been numbing herself and not facing up to the reality? Has she been looking for this crazy performer? She's dated a number of performers in her life. Was she looking for drama and excitement and passion, where really something a lot more stable, a lot more down to earth was what she needed? I think Opalite is going to cover themes of that. Her realising that there's poison in that level of passion and drama and that she needs something much more stable is where we see a clump of tracks. We're going to see it start with track 3, Opalite, then it goes to track 4, Father Figure, and track 5 is Eldest Daughter, Daughters and Fathers. Her father was standing backstage as someone for her to run to every night of the Eras tour when she was going through that breakup from Matty Healy. There was that father figure, there was stability, it was lessons being learned about actually what she needs. She was growing up while she was being the showgirl on the Eras tour. I think Matty Healy was her final drowning. It was the final realisation that she doesn't want that Elizabeth Taylor type of love anymore. She's drowned, she's fully submerged, she's got nothing left. So she's singing now, and her father, and her being the eldest daughter, though there's only one daughter, it's all about family. It's about being together, and her realizing that stability as well as her singing is her way of saving herself. I think I'm going to put it in meh, not sure. And the same with eldest daughter. I mean, eldest daughter, it could mean loads of things, but I think I'm going to leave that one in okay. That's going to be okay. I think the moments where she is with family, I think we're going to see tracks about that being her life raft, the life raft in the drowning scene that comes along to keep her going. She's got her songs, she's got the family stability. So we go from The Fate of Ophelia and Elizabeth Taylor as realisation songs to Opalite, father figure and eldest daughter as what kept her going when she was totally broken behind the scenes. So then we get to tracks 6, 7 and 8. Now, tracks 6, 7 and 8 are Ruin the Friendship, Actually Romantic and Wish List. And I honestly think that these 3 tracks are going to be the introduction of Travis Kelce on the scene. I think Ruin the Friendship, I think this is going to be a love track, to be honest, and I think I'm going to put this in Fearless Love. Actually Romantic, I think I'm going to put that in Obsession. I think I might absolutely love that. Wish List number 8, I think I'm going to put that in It's a Grower. So Ruin the Friendship, I've seen loads of people say they think this is about the breakup of the friendship with her and Blake Lively. Absolutely not. There is still a court case going on. Taylor Swift is too canny in business to start throwing shade into that mix with the court case still going on. Don't think it's got anything to do with Blake Lively. I think Ruin the Friendship next to Actually Romantic is a call to meeting Travis Kelce and the lessons that she found. Needs something a lot more down to earth. She doesn't need the poet and actor of Joe Alwyn. She certainly doesn't need the wild musician of Matty Healy. She wants somebody a lot more grounded in family. And we open the door here for Travis Kelce to walk through. Again, a superstar in his own right, but a very different type of man. We see him with his brother doing podcasts. The whole family is involved. His mom is on the field all the time. His brother's babies are in the mix. There is a real family feel about Travis Kelce, even though he is a superstar. Travis Kelce walks in with his own double face and his own broken mirror. We've got the sports star superstar, but we've also got the family man, which is the broken mirror that Taylor Swift has been carrying with her all her life. No wonder they recognised each other. Family people and yet mega superstars. There is a recognition in here, and very soon I think they would have realised that, and the friendship would have been broken, hence the track Ruin the Friendship. I think their love story would have been almost instant once they recognised each other's broken mirrors that they were carrying. And then there is a realisation of what is actually romantic. All of these years she's been chasing after the wild, dramatic musicians and that passionate love, where really there is this slide from friendship and recognition and family values into something that isn't as dramatic and wild, but it is actually what love is. It is actually romantic. This is going to be a track about Taylor Swift saying what actually should have been on her wish list all along, what she's realised. She wants both things. She's looking in all the mirrors she's got around her. She wants the family, that's in one mirror. She wants the showgirl life, that's another mirror. She wants the behind the scenes friendship and love with a man that is a lot more stable, like a family man. And I think Wish List speaks about what the Prophecy track didn't speak about the prophecy. She felt she was doomed to repeat circles and there was nobody there to love her. All of a sudden she's realised all of these broken mirrors and all of these faces and these jewel faces that she'd made for herself could be matched by somebody with the same wish list, and she'd found it. She'd broken the prophecy. Again, that idea of breaking something. I love the symbology of the broken mirrors in the artwork. Now we're up to tracks 9, 10 and 11. So Wood, I think this is going to be fantastic. I'm going to put that up in Obsession. Cancelled. I'm going to put that in my OK rank. Honey, that is going to be up in my Obsession. So I've already said about track 11 and Honey what I think that'd be. I think we're circling back to her thinking, gosh, look at the journey that I've been on during this tour, and I really did get duped into sucking the sweetness that was actually poison from this man's music. So I think Wood, as well as that idea of being duped that we see time and time again in the narrative of Hamlet and Ophelia. Now, when she announced The Life of a Showgirl on Travis Kelce's podcast New Heights, in the background behind them on the shelf was a little Pinocchio statue, and people were very quick to pick up on this. And of course, the story of Pinocchio is about the little boy that's really very fake, not even a real little boy, it's a wooden puppet, and he lies and his nose grows and he's just a continual liar. Now, I have never read Pinocchio. This is by an Italian writer, and the minute I saw the Pinocchio and saw the idea of lies and saw the title track of Wood, which is track number 9, I just thought the wooden boy, the smallest man who ever lived. We're cycling back now at the end of the album to the lessons learned about love. We learnt that men can lie. I think this is what track number 9 is. So I think this is going to be an obsession song for me. I think this links back to the Tortured Poets department, but with a much more upbeat vibe. It's going to be the smallest man that ever lived, part 2. You're nothing to me now, you're like a little puppet. Wood is followed by Cancelled. She's cancelling all those dreams out of what she thought she wanted. No longer is she holding on to any of those repeat stories. That circling back to this little puppet man that continued to lie is no more. She's cancelling the circle out because she's realised that the honey that he offered was poison. Wood, cancelled, honey. We've got a full circle moment at the end of the album of all the lessons that she learned about love. Finally, she got it. Finally, our diva realised what was going on, what was going wrong in love, and she found the right guy. The right guy came in. So it's a celebration. These are upbeat songs, but I put Wood and Honey as my obsession songs because I just think that they're going to absolutely smack, because they're going to have some realizations in there, but told in a more upbeat, positive way. Finally, we get to The Life of a Showgirl, the title track. Finally, she's realised that it's okay to have the jewel face. Ophelia never did anything wrong. It was okay for Ophelia to have flowers, to have paintings, to have songs, to sing, to want to love, to look for connections with flowers and love. It was okay for Ophelia to do all of those things and to create as many faces as she wanted to. That didn't mean that Hamlet had the right to then betray her. And what are one of the biggest mirrors that Taylor Swift loves to carry with her? It's her showgirl. She's always wanted to sing and perform for people. So I just wanted to find a showgirl book, guys, and I found The City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. This is a story set around the life of a showgirl. So it is a big old book, but I just really wanted to throw this into the mix. So there's been a number of books that I bought for this video, but the first 3 that I'm presenting for the Paper Thin Plans book club definitely got to be Hamlet or Hamnet, because I think this is the key pin for the album. I think Pinocchio as well. Let's read Pinocchio. So this is Carlo Collodi's Pinocchio. If you've not read Pinocchio yet, I'm going to throw that in, and an Elizabeth Taylor book, anything to do with Elizabeth Taylor. So that's it for my ranking. I'm so excited for October the 3rd. I just cannot wait. This is my ranking. Those are the links to the books, and I've given you an idea of what I think the album's going to be about. We shall see. Taylor Swift always surprises us, so I'm probably wrong with all of that, but even so, the books stand for the book club. So we've got 3 different areas of reading you can go on. You've got 10 weeks to do that reading. So 3 areas, 10 weeks. The number 13 is there. In 10 weeks time, I will present another 3 books based on my love of Taylor Swift. Now you can read 1 book, you can read 2 books, you can read all 3 books, or you can read multiple books around each theme. Say you want to go really down a Elizabeth Taylor rabbit hole and read all her works, you go for it. Doesn't matter how you want to join in, or you can just think about the books and think about what you think about the tracks and read no books, but do come along and play again anyway, whether you read no books, 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, or multiple books. There are no rules here. I will try and set a book club up on Discord. I haven't done it yet. I just wanted to film this video before October the 3rd, but as soon as I've got a Discord book club going and a Storygraph book club going in 2 different places, I will let you know. I will do another video. So as yet there's no physical place for a book club, but I wanted to give you the themes, I wanted to give you the idea, I wanted to give you those rabbit holes to fall down. And guys, I hope you, like me, are looking forward to October the 3rd. I cannot wait. I might even do a reaction video. Let's see in the reaction video whether this stands up and whether any of the themes that I have spoken about stand up as well. So Taylor Swift and books, it just had to be done, guys. So if you're still here, give me a confetti cannon emoji if you're still here to celebrate the new album. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.